In a valley where sunlight touched every leaf with gold, lived a bird unlike any other. Her name was Aurea, and her feathers shimmered brighter than morning dew. Nestled among them was one that outshone all the rest, a single golden feather that glowed softly even under the moonlight. It was said this feather held a magic so pure it could heal sorrow and bring hope where none remained. Aurea lived in the great Willow Woods, a place of peace where animals and fairies lived in harmony. Every dawn she would perch on the highest branch and sing, her melody carrying through the forest like a blessing. All who heard it felt their hearts grow lighter, their worries drifting away on the notes. Her song was a gift, a daily reminder of the beauty in the world. But one winter morning, when frost clung to every blade of grass, her song was interrupted by a desperate cry. Down by the river, a small fox named Leary had fallen through the ice, struggling in the freezing water. "Hold on," Aurea called, her voice clear and strong. She fluttered down, her wings of gold and bronze catching the pale winter light. She pecked at the frozen edge, her beak striking the hard surface, but the ice was far too thick. Time was running out. Without a moment's hesitation, she reached back with her beak and plucked her own golden feather. The instant it was free, its light seemed to dim slightly, but Aurea didn't notice. She touched the feather to the water, and like magic, the thick ice melted away like breath on a cold pane of glass. Leary scrambled out, shivering but alive, her eyes wide with awe and relief. "You gave away your magic feather," whispered Leary, her voice trembling, not just from the cold, but from the magnitude of the sacrifice she had just witnessed. Aurea simply smiled, a warm and gentle expression on her small face. What is magic worth if it cannot be shared? Word of Aurea's kindness spread through the forest like wildfire. The creatures, who already loved her, now adored her with a new depth of respect. But they also worried. The golden feather's magic had faded from her wing, and now she seemed just another bird, beautiful still, with her bronze and shimmering feathers, but no longer glowing with that ethereal light. Yet Aurea didn't mind. She continued her morning songs, her voice just as sweet, her heart just as full. Seasons changed. The frozen river thawed into a rushing spring, and the forest floor burst forth with a carpet of colorful flowers. Life returned in all its vibrant glory, but one evening, dark, ominous clouds rolled over the valley. The wind howled, a furious and destructive force that tore through the trees, ripping leaves and branches from their holds. It was a storm unlike any the forest had seen in a long time. In the meadow just beyond the woods, a young deer found himself trapped. A massive branch, ripped from an ancient oak by the gale, had fallen and pinned his leg. He struggled, but it was no use. Hearing his cries of pain and fear, Aurea, small and fragile against the raging storm, hurried to help. She tugged at the branch with all her might, her small body straining, but it was too heavy. She tried to sing for help, to call the other animals, but her voice was lost in the deafening roar of the thunder. Desperate, with water streaming from her feathers, she looked up at the tumultuous sky and whispered, a prayer carried on the wind, "If I still hold any magic within me, let it be for him." And though her golden feather was long gone, a light began to rise from within her chest. It was not the glow of a single feather, but a warmth that came from her very core, bright, powerful, and unyielding. This light wrapped around the deer, enveloping the heavy branch and lifting it just enough for him to crawl free. When the storm finally passed and the sun broke through the clouds, Aurea lay exhausted in the wet grass, her feathers dull and matted, her body trembling. The young deer, now safe, knelt beside her, his wide, gentle eyes shining with unshed tears. "You saved me," he said, his voice full of gratitude. "How can I ever thank you?" Aurea looked up at him, her strength slowly returning. "Live kindly," she whispered. That's enough. Days passed before the forest saw her again. The animals missed her song and worried about her silence. Then, one morning, bathed in the soft, golden light of dawn, a song rose from the treetops. It was sweeter, stronger, and more beautiful than ever before. The animals gathered at the base of the great willow, and as they looked up, they gasped in unison. Aurea had returned. Her feathers were no longer gold. Instead, they held every color of the dawn, the soft rose of the clouds, the pale blue of the morning sky, and the gentle silver of the lingering stars. They glowed softly, not with an external magic, but with a light that radiated from within. The old owl, the wisest of all the creatures, blinked his large eyes. "Your beauty," he hooted softly, "has changed." Aurea looked down at her friends, a gentle smile on her face. "Yes," she said, her voice filled with a newfound peace, "it has." And when she spread her wings, they filled the air with a palpable warmth, a comfort that had nothing to do with borrowed magic, but everything to do with love. From that day on, the creatures of Willow Woods told their young ones the story of the bird who gave her golden feather away. They taught them the lesson she had learned, that the truest, most enduring beauty shines not from what you have, but from what you give. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the Willow Woods. If this story touched your heart, please consider liking the video and subscribing to our channel for more tales of kindness and courage. Until next time, remember to share your own light with the world.